the resurrection of the figure, how the circa 1,995 inches painters wrote the future of figuration. The 1990s, an era when many critics and artists had pronounced the death of painting. Facing the growing power of video art, massive installations, photography, and conceptual art, there was a prevalent notion that the canvas, especially figurative painting, was an outmoded tool, lacking contemporary relevance. The history of art, after years of striving for abstraction and avant-garde, seemed to have no room left for the human figure, particularly in a traditional manner. But art history always sprouts from its own ashes. In the heart of New York during those years, around the pivotal moment of 1995, a quiet underground movement was taking shape. A movement that, not with a shout, but with a paintbrush, was about to breathe new life into figurative painting. A figuration that emerged from the depths of mass media, psychoanalysis, and postmodern skepticism. The exhibition Circa 1995, New Figuration in New York at David Zwirner Gallery, is a tribute to this resurgence. It brings together 8 generation-defining artists: John Currin, Peter Doig, Marlene Dumas, Ofili, Laura Owens, Elizabeth Peyton, Luc Tuymans, and Lisa Yuskavage. This group, though working in diverse geographical locations, the United Kingdom, Belgium, the Netherlands, and the United States, converged at one key point: the emerging New York galleries in the mid-90s. With their radical approaches, they redefined what painting could truly be. The rift between tradition and provocation. The new figuration of these artists was not merely a nostalgic return to tradition. They consciously looked toward the classic tropes, genres, and techniques of art, such as portraiture, landscape, and history painting, yet simultaneously introduced entirely new subjects, themes, and ideas. This contrasting blend defines the nature of their work: academic skill serving provocative and unacademic subjects. John Currin is perhaps the best example of this paradox. With a skill level comparable to an old master, he paints images of women that are an amalgamation of traditional portraits, sexually charged pinups, and popular cartoons. Currin's work challenges the delicate space between attraction and repulsion, pleasure and guilt. He forces the viewer to judge their own contradictory feelings when faced with fabricated beauty and exaggerated bodies. By employing an old-school visual language, Currin is actually subtly critiquing the concepts of sexualization and kitsch in contemporary culture. On the other side, Elizabeth Peyton propelled portraiture into a realm of intimacy and desire. Her small paintings and oils are profoundly psychological depictions of friends, historical figures like Napoleon, and pop/rock stars. With her virtuosic and fluid brushstrokes, she captures something beyond the subject's appearance. She is in search of their soul and creative character. Art critic Peter Sheldon notes about Peyton, "What matters not is who she paints and loves, but how she paints and loves them, with rigor that has ethical bite." By focusing on portraiture, once deemed insignificant in the cycle of the art avant-garde, she proved that painting can still touch the deepest emotional and ethical levels. Memory, media, and ambiguity. This generation of artists extracted their subjects from the vast archives of mass media images, films, and personal photographs, but they transformed these images in ways that made their meaning ambiguous and complex. Luc Tuymans, the Belgian painter, embodies this approach rooted in ambiguity. Based on existing photographs, he creates paintings often executed with a muted, pale, and faded color palette. His works resemble vague memories or images that flash by us quickly. With his seemingly quiet and restrained canvases, Tuymans engages with dark historical subjects, particularly the legacy of colonialism and political violence, such as his paintings following the Oklahoma City bombing. He effectively shows how images can simultaneously reveal and withhold the truth. Tuymans states, "Painting is always a kind of lie. This contradiction lies at the heart of his art." Following this path, Marlene Dumas, by focusing on the human body, explores the complexities of identity and representation. Her paintings, often based on news, photographs, pornographic imagery, or personal snapshots, are gestural, fluid, and frequently spectral. Using a technique similar to a paint wash, she breaks down the boundaries between the public and private self. In the 90s, Dumas, with works depicting children such as The Conspiracy, raised the question of how painting in the age of extreme media awareness can depict the human figure as imagined beings that have their own peculiar features and psychology. The canvas as an experimental frontier. These artists rebelled not only in subject matter, but also concerning the materiality of painting itself. They employed texture, color, and mediums in ways that transformed the canvas from a window into a complex, multi-layered object. Chris Ofili, the Nigerian-British painter, took this approach to its zenith. His kaleidoscopic, multi-layered paintings merge abstraction and figuration, adorned with resin, glitter, collage, pushpins, and, crucially, elephant dung coated in resin. The use of these organic materials, especially the dung, was not only an aesthetic shock, but introduced layers of identity, desire, and cultural issues into the work. By resting his canvases on balls of elephant dung, Ofili gave his works feet and a totemic presence, transforming the concept of an artwork into something both sacred and earthly. Laura Owens, the Los Angeles-based artist, also adopted an experimental approach to painting that challenged its material and conceptual limits. Her multi-layered works combine diverse interests in folk art, comics, and wallpaper patterns with a broad range of text sources, such as the alphabet. Her inventive compositions resist straightforward analysis while maintaining a formal unity. By questioning the master narratives of painting and combining what is beautiful and what is funny, Owens proved that painting, unfettered by pure abstraction, still holds much uncharted territory. Space, memory, and deconstruction. Some of these artists, particularly in their engagement with the genre of landscape, used the tools of figuration to examine space and memory, transforming it from a simple representation into a psychological state. Peter Doig is known for his atmospheric and dreamlike compositions, focusing predominantly on the figure and landscape. Influenced by his childhood in Trinidad and Canada, his works appear as familiar moments of tranquility, yet abstract and uncanny elements emerge on the periphery of the natural world. His paintings, such as the Concrete Cabin series, are inspired by Le Corbusier's modernist buildings, but placed in snow-covered or misty environments, they acquire a melancholic and nostalgic quality. Doig uses old photographs, album covers, and postcards to create landscapes that are more the spiritual state of a memory than a physical location. Finally, Lisa Yuskavage is known for works that uniquely challenge conventional understandings of genres and viewership. Her colorful figures, especially from the Bad Babies series, depict femininity in a prominent and often unsettling manner. She uses color as the primary vehicle of meaning, layering her characters within compositions of both representational and abstract elements. By exaggerating anatomy and challenging the conventional lines between objectification and power, Yuskavage poses questions about the female body, beauty, and art. She states, "I don't want to make something that's an antidote. I want to pose questions." Conclusion: the legacy of Circa 1995. The Circa 1,995 inches exhibition at David Zwirner is more than a historical recollection. It documents a vital moment. At a time when many considered painting a walking dead medium, these 8 artists had the courage to save figurative painting, not by rejection, but by boldly embracing and deconstructing its traditions. They allowed painting to become more flexible, more psychoanalytic, and more complex. They restored the canvas's capacity to address contemporary issues, from racial and political identity to celebrity worship and the anxieties of the digital age. The return of the figure was not a nostalgic look backward. It was a radical step toward the future. And this exhibition tells the first chapter of that exciting story.